Sorry, this thing is... This thing is showing it's having difficulty. What is going on here? Error, YouTube is not receiving a smooth connection. As such, viewers will experience buffing. Stream health is excellent.
Mm.
I wonder why, though. Is my status poor? It shouldn't be. Performance. You're experiencing issues. Well, what if I just did? Better? Worse? Worse? Trying to see if it's going to lower it. Gotta give me something here. Come on. Okay. Alright, we might not get any special intros and such. We'll see. Alright, I'm going to start it, file. Folks, before we start the WrestleMania 37 Night 1 review with Foul, I wanted to give a quick shout out and rest in peace to DMX. I know this really isn't wrestling related, and I have his picture up right now, but DMX was someone who I met one time after a Ring of Honor show here in Buffalo, New York, and just got nothing but respect for the guy. So I met him, good person, from my experience in talking to him. And I just wanted to show him some love because I'm a hip-hop fan, as you guys know. So rest in peace to DMX, someone who visited the Buffalo area often. But let's talk about that WrestleMania 37 review after this beautiful, beautiful intro from Montezi.
Everything pro wrestling, they can never be you. Listen to the podcast here for the people. The best show that's here, so listen in. Let the knowledge begin. The opinion and the lesson, yes. Everyday pro wrestling, they can never be you.
All right, folks, welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. I am your host, Conrad Cushman, and I am joined tonight by my co-host, the guest star, Foul. Original Foul has done these great graphics for us. I'm not even going to let him speak yet because I have to give him his props on all of this. And he is also very, very helpful. And if you guys want great graphics like this, talk to Foul. He's very affordable at a good rate. So show him some love. But Foul, it's great to have you back on the podcast again, my friend.
Thanks, Conrad. Thanks, mate. You know what? It was really fun to make these graphics, and it was a good show. It was a really good show tonight. So yeah, let's get into it, mate. Let's get into it.
Yes. Let's talk WrestleMania 37 Night 1. This was something else in my opinion. I guess we'll start with the rain delay. That was very awkward, but I thought WWE handled it pretty well. Like, they made it kind of a quick mini pre-show, and it's like, everybody, there's no time to rehearse something or set up anything. Let's go right to what we have to do here and jump right into these, like, beautiful, quick promos, and there's no scriptedness. You just talk. And it felt much more natural. I enjoyed it, I thought. I don't know how you felt about it.
No, I really loved it. So, like, obviously there were no matches on the pre-show, but having, like, that kind of scramble, it was 45 minutes. Like, there was 45 minutes of that stuff, and it just breezed by. Like, it felt like kind of manic as well. Like, it didn't feel like they had any time to get anything ready. And it was really funny. I don't know if you guys noticed, but when Kevin Owens was doing his promo, I think he got a little too excited and he broke the microphone. And like partway through the promo, he just started screaming. So I thought that was quite funny.
You gotta love when they have the errors that only some of the fans recognize. But yeah, they really did some good stuff here. I was very happy with it. Just people talking about their matches. It felt old school WrestleMania-esque, if I could say so. I thought it was good, man. We got people in the chat. What's going on, this black guy? Shout out to Steve. Tokyo Rockstar also in the house. Ace, BJ. What is going on? I can hear you, but only X visual. Yes. It should be fixed up now. I'm not sure if you guys are seeing anything. Let me know what you're seeing in the chat if you guys are having an image. I got a still image of you guys, but the audio is still going. Okay. I'll work on that behind the scenes momentarily, but enjoy the audio as we speak, because this will go to the podcast feed as well. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, hit the like button for us. Helps in the YouTube algorithm. Yeah, I'll work on that in the background, guys. I'm not sure why it's doing that. It looks like it's a YouTube issue, though, now that I'm looking at it from the errors on my end. But we're talking about the rain delays and stuff. Foul, I'll let you take over with that Vince McMahon opening that we had as well.
Okay, so yeah, the rain delay, like that was all really interesting. Like, obviously earlier on in the day, people were talking about this rain delay, that they said there was a storm that was going to be coming, and there was going to be lightning, and people were brought out of their seats. And there was that first kind of big speech where Vince McMahon welcomed everyone back, and it was like a minute long. It was quite heartfelt speech, but he got to get the first pop, didn't he? He got to get the "Welcome to WrestleMania." He got it. I was quite happy. It was quite the moment. Like, a lot of us have been wrestling fans this whole year, and thinking like last year when wrestling there were no fans, to having an event where people could stand out on a massive stage and look out to all the fans. I think it was really special. It was really cool.
Yeah, I thought that they did a really good job with it. And sometimes some of that stuff is just, I guess the best words I can put for it is just like that political BS. You don't know how you're going to deal with it or what you're going to want to do with it exactly. But you're stuck with it. They want the CEO to kind of announce it. I get it. Cool. And I thought Vince gave his best impression, too, of like when he used to do commentary. He just had the gravelly voice, kind of just the WrestleMania. And, you know, he's just proud of his creation. So I thought it was well done. And I think one of the most important things for all of this was having the fans back made it a special moment. And I think that the wrestling community, as far as the wrestlers in it, had to show gratitude. I think over this time period, sometimes fans get treated badly here and there. I've heard stories, I've seen it too. The fans are really like the key in all of this to make this work. And I think sometimes that was easily forgotten before. And this is kind of a reminder, like, dude, don't forget. You could be performing in front of no one tomorrow, and then what are you going to do? That's how I mean, saw it.
No, I totally agree. I think that there was like obviously later on in the night, and we'll talk about this segment when we get there, but there was a moment when Titus O'Neil later on was, you know, trying to get that energy from the crowd, to feed from the crowd. And, you know, he spoke to the crowd, and first of all, they were a bit like, then he's like, no, and you could see it. Like, it's something that those performances are really missing. It is that key missing ingredient of the whole performance, isn't it? That they do that performance to get a reaction, and to be able to do that, it's very special. And obviously in independent wrestling, they've still been able to do that, but on the massive stage of the WWE, these artists have been starving, and like, it's really cool. Like, it was a really cool evening just to let them, like, especially the crowd, like, because how crowd's reacting to it, like, it was all a learning experience for everyone, I think.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. I love it, guys. I think the visual stuff should be coming back. It looks like it wants to, and then it's fighting it. So there's a lot of people streaming on YouTube right now. So if you're just hearing the audio, I apologize. I don't think there's anything that I can do for it, but it looks like we're in the green, and then it's just changing. So whatever it is, I'm glad that you guys are here listening. I'll be talking to you guys in the comment section as well. So please write your comments, and we'll still read out what you got to say and get into it. Let's talk about the intro. We had a like Pirates of the Caribbean intro. We had this last year kind of too. Great feel to it. I'm a big fan of the movies, so I was cool with it. Thumbs up from me. What do you think, Fal?
Oh yeah, oh man, like the whole of the starting and all that stuff, like it felt like last year. Like it felt like all the stuff from last year, but like it's so over the top. It's such a cool theme as well, the pirate theme. I mean, we were just missing one thing. We were missing Mr. Paul Burchill, really, weren't we? Like if we're not getting Paul Burchill to turn up for a little cameo appearance on a pirate themed WrestleMania, we're not doing our job.
Yeah, man. Just all you gotta do is just bust out the old Paul Burchill theme. That would have been great to just have him show up maybe for a 24/7 segment. There's still time tomorrow, so book
Oh
it.
my God, for a 24/7 segment, that would be fantastic. That would be
Book
amazing.
it.
Just swing in, take the title, swing out.
Exactly. And just have people chase him for the rest of the night until R-Truth gets it back, because you know that's the end game with this overall. But I think we've reached the point to where we could talk about the card here, Foul. We'll get into some of the other stuff, but I also wanted to show some love. Rated, if you're listening to this, got your shirt on, buddy. Definitely paid for it too. So make sure you guys support someone in wrestling, whomever it may be. You guys know Foul's got a Patreon. Show Foul some love. Go support someone, something that talks wrestling, pro wrestling. This is the perfect time to do that. It's WrestleMania season. I see people talking about how Hogan got booed. I don't even really want to get into the Hogan Titus stuff. I don't know what they were. Damn
Oh
it.
yeah, that was all a bit weird. Like, okay, so there's one thing, yeah, like so obviously Titus comes out. It was like presented really weird as well. It was kind of like they kept saying they didn't mention Hulk Hogan until after Titus was out there and like everything was cool. Then Hogan came out, but there was this really awkward moment where he's like, "Let me tell you something, Titus." I was like, that was really awkward. Like that was the most awkward part of that whole segment. But yeah. But are they there for 2 nights? They're there for the next night as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Hogan seemed to be surprised.
Yeah, I feel like Hogan's just gonna be stuck with that mixed reaction now for the rest of his like time. It's just gonna be like, yeah, boo! I remember what you said, boo. So Hogan's just gonna be stuck with it. And people they tried to do like the Titus rub for the cheers, and it just, yeah, it's not working. You're not fooling fans in this day and age.
But they got him backstage in the NWO segment. He's going to be double dipping for the rest of his career, like trying to get reaction, come out in the red and yellow, and then just be backstage hanging out with the NWO.
You know, dude, right? Like, come on, man. Hopefully, he doesn't show up in the world title match in WrestleMania 9. This whole thing.
I do. Did you see what he said at the Hall of Fame? He's at the Hall of Fame with the NWO belt, and he was like, "You know what we should do? We should turn up in the main event, and we should beat Roman Reigns, and we should just take the titles." And he's like, "But that's wishful thinking." And I was like, "Hogan, what are you saying?"
Ace in the chat said Hogan should never host WrestleMania ever again. You're gonna be surprised tomorrow. Do. Let's see. BJ said Kairi Sane needs to be on that ship. BJ, I had like, an obsession that I was like, Kairi Sane needs to be out here doing this. Put Kairi Sane on this ship and let her handle her business. That would be great. Malik Murray's coming in with a question about the King of the Ring tournament. Save it for the end, Malik, and we'll get into some of those other ones. I want to... Foul is here very late on UK time, so we're going to show him some love and just try and get this going here, this review. Foul, let's talk the WWE Championship match first, since that was the first match that happened. And I thought this was very appropriate. Let's start with a big title match, and let's start with the guy who you could have saw last year, and let's see where he is now. And we're starting off with Drew McIntyre challenging for the WWE Championship against Bobby Lashley with MVP in his corner here. Man, this was a great way to open WrestleMania, I thought. This was the perfect way to do it. A power game between the two guys to start off early on. Lashley's trying to wear down Drew for the Hurt Lock. He's fighting it. Drew's looking for the Claymore, but he's trying to figure out ways to do things. Favorite spots in the match for me were the 3 Future Shock DDTs when he held on to it and kept landing them over and over and over again. And we had a cool transition even into the Kimura lock. And I really like the MMA usage in this match between the two guys. And I'm going to say this. If you never saw their matches in Impact, bro, I'm telling you, you would have known this was going to be good. And to me, this is probably their best matchup I've seen them have on the WWE side of things. Like, this was really, really good. And Matt Lopez, I see you. What's going on, Matt? But Foul, kick it, man. What do you have for this matchup? And I'll let you give the finish for it.
So, amazing match. Like, really, as you said, yeah, great thing to start off the night. Like, it was at that point I realized we were 45 minutes into the first hour and we were just getting the first match. But it was fast. It was hard. It was rough. Like, it was rough. Like, one of my favorite parts of the match was Drew McIntyre doing that like flip, like that tope over the top of the rope, like straight onto the floor. Basically, they didn't catch him, but he went flying. And it was a great match. The finish to the match, of course, was that Bobby Lashley picks up the win. Bobby Lashley is still the WWE champion, but like, it felt deserved, and like, I think that it was the right decision. I truly think it's the right decision. It's a bit of a shame for Drew because he won the championship in front of no one, and he's held the championship in front of no one, and now he's lost it in front of people.
So, Foul, in my opinion, I think that if Drew would have won here, I think everybody would have turned on him.
No, I agree. I do agree. And like, the finish, obviously, the actual finish was he put him in the hurt lock, and he didn't tap out. He passed out. So he stays strong. It was two guys beating the crap out of each other until one of them couldn't stand anymore. So I totally agree with your point that, yeah, if he'd won, the crowd, I think, might have turned on him because the Hurt Business are no more as such. And then you kind of take the title off Lashley. It's a bit much, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's just not time to for Lashley. My only fear with Lashley winning is, where do we go from here? And if not Drew, who do you have face him next? You don't really have a lot of options, I feel, on the babyface side of things. You're going to have to force like Riddle or Keith Lee, in my opinion, at this point, if we keep the same roster. But maybe we'll eventually get to that. All Elite Podcast in here for a WrestleMania review. Yeah. What's going on?
How you doing?
Malik Murray says, I think that Drew McIntyre is turning heel and bringing back the Broken Dreams theme song. Listen, I would love to have that theme back, but I don't know if he's going to be able to bring that back. That would be great, though. I would absolutely love it. For this match, I gave it a B+. I don't know if you were great in anything, Foul, or if you can disagree. Maybe you can tell me what you would do with the grade. Maybe you'll be like, you're stupid like Braun, so no, this was bad.
Oh my God. No, because I am here to defend the honor of all the people who've been called stupid before now, yeah? Like, that's what I'm here for. I'm a conductor of the train that protects stupid people from being called stupid, or for people being called stupid. What was that? Like, when we get to that, there's things to talk about there. What was that all about?
I choose you.
Like, that
was the greatest Simpson meme. I don't know who did that. That was just great stuff.
Lawless said something as well. He was like, he made like a joke about him like in class and still being in the 5th grade or something. I was like, what are you doing? What is happening today? But
Lawless just misses getting in those one-liners from the 90s that he had that were great, and now we just can't do them.
Yeah, the match, you give it a B+. I'd very much agree. I'd say that it was a really good match to kick off the night, and those two guys always have a good match. Like, as you said, like back from Impact and stuff. So, hell of a match. Beat the crap out of each other.
And speaking of Impact, Matt Lopez brought up they had good matches in Impact. Their Slammiversary match was very good, but this was their best, he says. I love how the Claymore was protected because it was never hit, protecting how powerful it was. Because if he hit it, it could have been over. So now you never know. And I do love when they protect finishers. We were talking actually during this match, I think, about how the pedigree at one point was so protected. And even some of Sheamus's, like, the bro kick. Like, people don't kick out of certain moves a lot, and it adds to it. I believe Ricky Steamboat was talking about his Macho Man Randy Savage WrestleMania 3 match about prostituting finishers, and he said if he could change one thing in that match, he wishes that he would have did the crossbody from the top rope for a near fall, because he said he thinks he would have got people even more back then. But he said we didn't do that back then. Like, you don't do your finisher and someone kicks out of it. They're like, that's no. Back then they would have been like, absolutely not, vetoed. Like,
actually, my only criticism of this match, and I think probably a lot of people, and we haven't mentioned it, is like the way that the finish happened, which is like, was it MVP outside just going, Drew, like, strawberry, and then he was like, what? And then he turns around, that was so weird.
Yeah. Maybe that was just to get him to pop or something, but that was great. I don't know. I laughed at that part. I thought that was funny.
So yeah, the rest of the match was great.
So good, yeah. Man. BJ said he was surprised to see Lashley retain. Malik Murray said Brock Lesnar, damn it. So it sounds like he wants that Brock Lesnar match. I'm with you on that, Malik. Hopefully Brock makes his return and we get Lashley Brock. That could be some good things. We get this weird segment backstage with NWO Titus and Bailey. I don't know if you have anything you want to say about that file. It was awkward to me. It just came off like, what are we doing?
It was. What I liked about it was everyone was kind of like, we don't like you. Even Titus was like, why are you here? But X-Pac was like, I like you. You're cool. It's like, but she's just going around going, too sweet me, everyone. It was very weird.
I feel like they could have had Bailey try to be the host, and the backstage storylines could have been like Bailey and the reason why she's not the host. Maybe they could have explained that more, like Bailey wants to take it from Titus and Hogan, and it'd be like, guys, I'd be a way better host than them, trust me, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, Bailey, this is exactly why you're not the host, and you're not supposed to be back here. Security, help me, I'm supposed to be the host of this. You know, you could have did stuff like that with her. It just felt weird.
But also in that segment as well, just like within universe. So Hogan was literally outstaged like 5 minutes earlier in the red and yellow. So that means like that's the end of his hosting duties, basically. Like he went out there, did that. He goes backstage, gets drunk with his buddies. Titus was still dressed, ready to host.
Yep. It's weird too. They say host, but foul. What more do they really get into besides like saying something? Are they like the GMs for the night? Is Pierce not needed tonight?
It's like the only hosts that I like actually recognize and respect are hosts like The Rock, yeah, from WrestleMania, and also The Miz when he used to host SmackDown, because he used to get involved in stuff. He'd be there all the time in the crowd. Now they just come out at the beginning.
Right.
And that's it.
And New Day got to do something before a little bit too. So
I think they're scared with Hogan though. They just bring Hogan out one time, they get his reaction, and they just bring him straight back. Like
New Day will forever have my favorite moment with the Hardy Boys. Like I was there, just classic. I was watching it and I was just getting goosebumps. I think I was sending it to a couple people too online, like just so you guys can hear how loud it really was. Because I always tell people, like when you watch the video, it doesn't do justice to how loud it really was in an open air stadium, and just great. Let's get into the tag team turmoil match, Foul. I don't really have a lot to say in this one.
Well,
this came off rough.
It was like the worst part about it is that everyone just focused on how bad the match was, which was a little unfair to the match. Like I think, you know, like this match, for example, and it sounds bad, but this match should have been on the pre-show. Like I don't really understand why this match happened.
I have a theory.
You know, because they had to cut something, didn't they? You had to cut a match and a half, basically, of all that time they had to cut. But this match will happen. So Mandy Rose comes out and falls on her ass. Yeah. Some people may know that her tag team partner fell out of something slightly. And other people, like, it's all like, people say she fell out of something, and the botches in the match, like the match was really strange, and it just felt like they weren't really energized for it, or maybe it was everyone's really nervous or something. But yes,
lots of missed kicks and everything, and I think it's just there's a lot of timing when it comes to WrestleMania. Do this, do that. They did have some clever spots in this. I will give it up for the tag team of Billie Kay and Carmella. I like the whole put your foot on your partner's back so that way she can't fall over. That was a really clever spot, I thought. The Riot Squad, I thought, had some unique double team moves. The only problem with the Riot Squad, I thought, was that they were trying to do too much cute stuff sometimes, like where it was flip me, roll me into her, and I'm going to use my head to go in first. And sometimes I'm like, that really didn't do too much, and you didn't need to do all that. Sometimes simple is better. I was saying this in the AEW stream, too, about the, what was it, Jurassic Express and Bear Country. I'm like, sometimes less is more. Like, you could have just done, like, a double team shoulder block, and that would have meant way more than you trying to do, like, a flip into somebody and do all the extra. And I thought the Riot Squad were probably, like, the MVPs of this match. I thought they looked really good. And I think a lot of people by the end of this would have been disappointed for why they didn't win. But my theory is going to come into play here. And I know we're not going over the match in order or exactly like it. Who cares? So Natalya and Tamina end up getting the victory here. But I think this is where it all plays in. What match could you have put in here instead? The SmackDown tag title match, you don't really need it in here. And the feud's been primarily been on SmackDown with some pauses and breaks in between four teams. And that would have got you energized. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal was honestly used as a segment. I think Jey Uso only won because they were like, all right, then we'll have Roman come out after it. Truthfully, that's how much thought I think went into it. With this, Tamina has never really had her, like, moment, we'll say. Like, when you think of Tamina, I can't really think of anything except for she was, like, AJ's bodyguard, really. Or she was with so-and-so at this time period. She's always kind of been looked over. And I think this tonight was Tamina's moment to shine. Like, you're at WrestleMania, you're going to go to the top, and you're going to hit that Superfly splash just like your family used to. You know what I mean? And I'm not glorifying the whole Jimmy Snuka thing or any of that. This is someone's father, is what I'm saying. And she wanted to honor someone who she wanted to make proud, who got her into the business. And I think that's why they put Tamina in this spot. And the same thing here with Natalya. Natalya is someone who has been often forgotten about. And it's like, oh, well, that's just Jim the Anvil Neidhart's daughter. You know? She makes everyone look good. And you kind of forget about those people and how important they are. So I think this was an opportunity to show, like, these two ladies can stand out. And guess what? Tomorrow night on night 2, you're getting the tag team title shot. And you guys deserve it. And I think it's just kind of a cool moment for them. So even though I gave this a C- for a match rating, I understand why they did this.
Well, it's like there's some things in the match here. Like, number one, Riot Squad, absolute MVPs in this match. Absolute. I love the fact that they had, like, matching gear, but the matching gear was that they were Harlequin and Joker. I thought that was amazing. That was, like, a very fun, like, dynamic. But as you said, like, all the kind of, like, all the really cool stuff they were trying to do didn't work because it was too slow. And it was very interesting because that first match between Drew and Lashley, the camera cuts, there was like 1,000 million camera cuts here, like every second. In that match, there were like no camera cuts. And when they were doing their stuff, I think they thought there'd be camera cuts to hide what they were up to. So they just did what they'd normally do. So I think in essence, they were exposed because there must have been complaints. There must have been like, done. Too many camera cuts. All right, fine, I won't do as many. And then there's like exposed all of the magic. So, it was a good match. And I totally agree, actually, with what you say about Tamina and Natalya having that moment. But yeah, all in all, it was a good match. And also, highlight of that match was Billie Kay trying to be Carmella.
Yes.
Like, she came out trying to do the whole thing, and Carmella's like, calm down. Like,
it did make me miss the Iconics. Like, I thought we were going to get something crazy like that, or maybe the Bella Twins show up at the end. I had crazy ideas for this match, but they kept it very basic. Like I said, C- was the grade I gave to it. I think that's fair for some of the action we got in certain spots. There were a bunch of other teams in this, though, so we'll see where we go forward with some of these teams. I'm just tired of the makeshift tag teams. Malik Murray said it best in the chat. They got to merge the women's tag division and the men's tag division. I feel like we just need one set of tag team belts. You could travel to both brands. That might be the best way to do things going forward with them. But now that there's NXT belts, I can't see them doing that with the women's now.
I still don't understand why there's NXT belts. Like nothing against the NXT champs, the new women's NXT champs, but it feels like too many. It feels like the whole point of like these undisputed belts are supposed to be that you could just travel around wherever you want, but it's like there's a problem with that. We just want to have them in NXT, so it feels a bit weird. But nah, let's see what the match is tomorrow, because to be honest, it could be a really, really good match.
I agree.
And good on them.
And I think Tamina would love to work with Nia too. That's like the main thing. Like they're both family.
Because they were part of like a team at one point, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
They were going around. They were like bad biatches or something. There was something, weren't they? They were running around. They were just like, we hate everyone. They were like the super mean girls. And now that would be and that would be a very cool match as well, because that is it's 3 good workers and Nia Jax. But it's a good match.
Right, and I would be remiss if I didn't tell everybody who was in the chat. If you're in here checking us out and you enjoy the content, please hit that like button. Also, big shout out to Jared Simmons who joined us. I saw your comment and wrote back to you. And Chris Tazuba also in the house throwing up that Derek order hand sign. Derek couldn't be here tonight, but he did send me my best wishes on this stream, and he also was sad that he could not do it with Foul because he didn't know that, because Derek doesn't plan anything. But I still love the guy. He always does the AEW reviews with me, and he should be back for tomorrow's review, so we'll definitely get into that. And Foul, rubbing the hands together for this one. I think this was my match of the night here. Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. Damn, bro. Like, I gotta give it to you because I'm lost for words. I love this match. This is my match of the night, actually.
This match, absolutely beautiful. The build to this match, all of those like political ad campaigns from Seth Rollins about Cesaro and then calling him Cesaro. What was really interesting about the build to this, and I don't know if anyone picked up on it, but like, he became Chris Jericho. And I was going to say it on Twitter, but I didn't think it was going to come across right. But he's basically mispronouncing the guy's name like Kurt Angle, like Jericho did when he turned up in WWF in like 99, 2000. And he even said "baby" at the end of it. He had like the same cadence. And it was all about how Cesaro isn't as good as he is. But that match was amazing. The crowd were so into it. Like, the crowd weren't really there for that first match, and they also weren't really there for the women's match. But this match, oh my god, like, the crowd were into it. That Cesaro section was in full force out there tonight, and they were doing some crazy stuff out there, like the UFO, like the finish, like the almost finish to the match, like when Seth Rollins did the 360 frog splash thing. I was like, what the crap is he doing? Oh, those two guys put it all out on the line that night, and definitely like one of match of the night for me, I would definitely say.
Dude, so awesome when you put this match all together. Seth Rollins, I did not notice the Jericho thing, so I'm going to give you your props on that one. You're the first person I heard say that. Yeah, that's very different. Came together differently, in my opinion. Looking at it, like, dude, this was Cesaro's moment, and they really let him shine here. And I hope people backstage were like, holy shit, we've got a star on our hands here. How do we capitalize on this? You had it now at WrestleMania 30, and I think they squandered it that time. Don't do it twice. Don't blow this. I think that Cesaro really came out here. The twisting frog splash, like, holy shit, CrossFit Jesus is real. Like, I don't know how he did that and made it look so smooth. Seth Rollins was absolutely amazing here. The curb stomp European uppercut. The moment I saw Cesaro bend down and then I saw Seth run, I'm like, uppercut, uppercut. Like, if you've been watching this long enough, it just becomes like, you just know. And I was like, yes, that was so sweet. And then when I'm watching this, I watched this at a party. Shout out to the friend who hosted the party. I won't say their name because I don't know if they want it said on here. But I was watching with a unique group of people. Like, I had teenagers, a young kid who was there watching with us. We also had, like, I would say 3, like, huge wrestling fans. Myself, Rob, His brother Brandon was there with me, and he's kind of like more so casual now, but I just had a unique experience of watching it with everybody. Everyone was like, yeah, but I don't know about the Cesaro guy, man. Like, does he really have it? And then all of a sudden, when they saw that UFO, I'm like, oh my God, he's about to do it. They're like, he's about to do what? And when he started spinning and he put his hands down, they were like, yo, what was that? They lost their shit. These are two Ring of Honor, like, main event caliber guys. Claudio Castagnoli and Tyler Black would deliver back in the day anytime you put them on a card in Ring of Honor. I don't care if it's the Age of the Fall, the Kings of Wrestling. These guys were going to deliver. And once I saw that, and then we saw the Cesaro swing for 23 rotations, and then that great neutralizer, bro, A-. Cesaro deserves it. Match of the night, in my opinion.
It goes to show, and like I put a tweet out on Twitter, and like obviously on Twitter, but a tweet out, and it said something like, so now we know, what is like the barrier to like creative freedom and being pushed within the WWE. You can get pushed and you can have creative freedom if there is a global pandemic, there are issues with travel, or there's issues with something else here. If those things don't happen, you can't have creative freedom. Injuries and stuff like that. So basically, Cesaro was put in a position where they kind of didn't have any faith in him, really. And they were kind of like, we'll just put you out there and see what happens. And as you said, exactly like at WrestleMania 30. And then the next night, they let him come out and they just immediately destroyed him. They were just like, we don't want you anymore. They're in a unique position to give it another shot. And the crowd are so receptive to him. I think with a smaller crowd, it works better as well. So I don't know what's happening with the Raw after Mania. I'm guessing there's going to be fans there. Like, and if not, tomorrow night.
Back in like a Thunderdome setting. I think it's going to be a slow rollout for everything. I think WWE, the smart thing in my opinion would be to wait here in the States until everything's open, because each state has different rules. Like, we just were allowed to start like giving out food again recently in my area. So there's so many different rules. You're probably going to want to wait until you can go almost everywhere again. Maybe if there's like 2 or 3 states that are in the outskirts and still say no, I get it. But for now, I don't see them leaving Florida until things are way different and better. And I feel the same about any company right now that's running. They're just going to stay where they are and keep doing this until they get all right, we're good to go.
Well, I could say then tomorrow night, Cesaro is going to be getting chants, because they're never going to let him forget that. And good on him. Good on him, and good on Seth for being so like giving as well, because that's a really nice guy to give that kind of spot on WrestleMania as well.
Right, and if the builds felt so awkward, just you're not used to seeing people get into these spots, and it felt good. Like, Cesaro's gear looked dope. He was on point tonight. Ace in the chat says Cesaro versus Rollins was a classic. Matthew Lopez, he's a big Ring of Honor fan. I got to give Matt his props because he always keeps me up to date on the Ring of Honor news. When something happens, Matt's the first one to let me know. He said that was freaking wild. Malik Murray said, I think that Seth Rollins reminds me of Jericho when he was a 2009 heel worker. Okay, I like it. Rockstar says
Cesaro yes, when he was a 2009 heel worker. Yeah. I'd agree with that.
Rockstar's happy Cesaro wins his first WrestleMania singles match. Mr. Pro Wrestling 1 in the chat. What's going on? He says hello to everyone. Ace says Black Magic. And ROH makes main event stars, Matt Lopez says. Okay. I like it. As far as this one goes, though, like I said, A- is the grade. Really loved it. We get a promo backstage with the Dirty Dogs, Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Roode. They look like they took some sunglasses from, I don't know, the 80s or some other wrestlers' names, not to be
Joey Janela. I was like, it looks like Ryan. I thought that Ryan Namath had stolen Joey Janela's glasses and smuggled them to Nick Namath to get him on TV, because that's the kind of stuff that two brothers would do, wouldn't they?
I love Foul. I have the softball right here. Foul just hit a home run. He was like, oh, you don't lob this to me. Crack. But, the Dirty Dogs are doing their things. I don't know. Like I said, I'm happy for the guys. They're veterans in the ring. Yeah, not too much more I can say about it other than that. And Matt Lopez has confirmed that it will be in the Thunderdome still after this. So, okay. We'll see. Hopefully they can maybe allow some people in. Maybe they'll say, hey, we're at this location and we're letting in X amount of people eventually. Hopefully things improve. But speaking of tag team wrestling, let's get to the fourth match on the card. We have the New Day taking on the tag team of AJ Styles and is it Omos? I'm hearing different ways to pronounce this, so we're just going to say Omos, and if I'm wrong, I'll fix it later. But AJ Styles and Omos, and I love the fact that Big E still comes out and he introduces Kofi and Xavier. It felt so good to hear that and then see it right in front of us. So many special moments for the fans tonight. I don't know if I'll start this one off, I guess. AJ Styles and Kofi Kingston kick off the match, showing us why they are two of the best in-ring in WWE today. I really loved the work that they did in the beginning of this match. And AJ Styles was kept from making this tag for a long time. And I thought this was a unique way to position the match. New Day worked as the heels in this one more so from a in-ring psychology standpoint, and AJ was the babyface. They were stomping him. They did their whole go around, can't let AJ make the tag. Woods goes to the top rope and AJ looks at him. He goes, oh no. Tag is made. And Omos finally gets in, and this dude comes in, and he is looking like Shaquille O'Neal, just like a huge, larger-than-life star, and these guys are getting the hell beat out of them by him. He's flipping Kofi's arm, he's chopping people, anything they do, he's just not selling anything, and it's bouncing off. And he's the bodyguard. Maybe he shouldn't here. AJ hits a phenomenal forearm off of his back at one point. Nice. AJ gets a lot of the props for being able to keep the balance and doing that off of a human being. And after that, man, we saw a choke bomb on Omos for the pin. Kofi, great sell of the facial after he got the slam. I don't know if you saw it on the replay after. That's when I finally noticed it. Kofi's eyes looked like he was in a horror film, and he had just gotten got by Jason, and he just looked over and he was done. And he won with the foot on the chest like you're nothing. 1, 2, 3. New tag team champs, AJ Styles. I think this puts him in the category of Grand Slam as well.
Ooh, actually, yeah, because he's held tag team gold with Jericho.
No, they
Smackdown
never
tag
won
team
it.
gold.
This is his first tag title.
Oh, they never won it. Oh, damn. Okay. Oh, I thought they won it. Oh no, they didn't. Okay. Well, yeah. In this match, there's one thing I want to say is something that's come from the pandemic era that I think is going to stay now, and it's something that I absolutely love. And it's, wrestlers talk too much now, but they do it in an amazing way. So, as you said, they were kind of playing the heels. The New Day at one point, and it was amazing. They just went, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna cut off our half of the ring. We're gonna stand over here, and they literally call their spots for the whole match out loud, but in a meta way. And it was very interesting to see that. Omos, oh my god, that guy he can move as well. He came up the road, he came up to the ring, and he kind of bounced up a little bit. It does though feel a little bit like it's the same visual as when Braun and the 10-year-old kid won the championships.
Yes,
it's
Nicholas.
That again, isn't it? It's almost is Braun. The kid is AJ.
Craziness, man.
But great. You know what? They're going to be a good tag team. I liked the fact again that Omos got the pin there. He was the one that got the pin, and I think that'll be a very interesting dynamic of a tag team to take forward. And obviously wait for the inevitable Omos turning on his master kind of thing. And that would be crazy when he just beats the crap out of AJ. And he's like, I'm not doing that stuff anymore. I think they're quite interesting.
Yeah, I think that could happen sooner rather than later. Kofi and Xavier were scared of him. Ace thought that was a funny part that they had in there for that.
Oh. Yeah, that was amazing as well. There's so many good bits in this. I think Michael Cole said at one point that these guys could potentially be the best tag team of all time, and I can't argue with that, because the point when Omos came in and then Woods is like, all right, I'm gonna do something, and then Kofi's like, yeah, get him, man, get him, you could do it, you got this, and he hits him a few times, and he's like, what kind of shit is that, you bitch? And he literally almost just says it to him, and he's like, Oh no! So it was great. It was absolutely fantastic. At one point, actually being the heels as well. Kofi said, "Come over, chicken shit," and almost is like, "We'll come get you soon." It was fantastic. It's great.
It was. I felt like AJ didn't need to be the Grand Slam, but he's got it for now, and I guess we'll see what happens with it. I just wish Raw had more tag teams. Like, that's my fear in the end with all of this. But solid matchup in my opinion. I gave this a C plus, and it's not a bad C plus. This was solid. You just won't see a lot of like the crazy moves, anything that you thought in here. This was just a good tag match. Did what it had to do, and it established Omos as a star. I think that was the main thing you wanted to walk away from this doing, was he's a star. AJ's with him. Knew they didn't need the tag titles. Honestly, they're gonna go down as one of the greatest factions anyway, or tag teams, both. So we're in a good spot with that. Now next, this is a little tidbit that I wanted to talk with Fowl about too. The WWE 2K20 gameplay was shown with Rey Mysterio and Cesaro. As you guys know, WWE 2K20 was shit. I said it. Absolutely terrible, and I still see fans doubting, and they have every right to. They're saying gameplay looks great, graphics look great, but how is this game going to play once we finally get it in our hands? So I think 2K's got a lot of rebuilding to do with the community, but I thought this was a great first step. I thought it looked great. Foul, your thoughts on the little tidbit of the game we got?
So I'm building a new PC in like a month or so, and like WWE 2K20 is shit. Like, I've got it on my computer. It doesn't run. It's not optimized. It's terrible. There's so many things that don't work on it. I'm really hoping it's going to be good, and it's due to come out this summer, isn't it? From what I heard. So it's being released this summer. So it's quick. It's quick. I'm going to give them a chance because Battlegrounds was really good, and it was a total departure from everything else. And a year was taken out. That's a lot of money that's been left on the table, so I feel like it's a very do or die. Like, it's a very this is almost like a last chance, I think, for a lot of fans. And if it doesn't work out, then there's a plethora of other games out there, like the AEW game, like the game obviously by Virtual Basement. There's a whole heap of Retromania. There's a whole heap of wrestling games out there, and if the mainline WWE series is not satisfying you, there's other stuff out there now. So I think that it's going to be a very careful balancing act. I'm very hopeful that it's going to be good, but previous history has shown that not to be true. So let's hope that. I think you're right. Like, the way that they're engaging with the community, the new person that they put in charge of the community after what happened last time, I think that the right people are being listened to and the right things are being done. So let's see what happens.
Rated in the chat says, nice shirt. My man, I had to make sure that you knew I was rocking it, brother. So I appreciate you coming on in, showing some love. Rated one of the nicest in the rap game, in the wrestle rap, so make sure you guys show him some love. Yeah, dude, the 2K22 game, it's got potential. I don't want to speak too much on it now. I'm sure we'll both end up talking about it again later once they drop more news. But for now, I thought it looked good. I'm trying to be an optimist here, so hopefully we get good things from that. Let's talk about the steel cage match, Shane McMahon versus Braun Strowman. Unfortunately, I predicted on the Insiders podcast stream, I had a great revelation last night. They said, how does this match end? And I said, Shane McMahon pulls out Brain Quest and Braun taps out. We did not get that, unfortunately. Shane McMahon and Braun Strowman have a match here, and I was hoping maybe we got some interference from Bill Nye the Science Guy. Something could have happened here. But we end up getting an attack from Elias and Riker in the beginning of this. They use some steel chairs to jump him. Braun gets in there afterwards. They had a nice, they had a sheet of metal around the ringside area. It reminds me of when Shane used to always find stop signs and stuff and use them on people. They figured out a way just to get Shane some weapons so he could figure out how he got his offense in and how he slowed Braun down, at least, in all of this. I thought it was all right. I even like where Elias and Riker tried to help Shane over, but Shane ends up still getting caught by Braun after he runs into the cage, pulls him back in. Really good stuff. Shane ends up hitting Braun in the head with a toolbox. Jeez Louise, that looked bad. He goes to taunt Braun, and then my favorite spot happens, Foul, and I'm probably going to let you take over from here. Braun grabs Shane's hand and rips open the cage and brings him back in. That was some Monster Beast stuff. I thought that was very well done. That was a unique spot that we've never seen in a cage match before, so I said, all right, bravo. This was sleeper match. Like, the match that I thought was going to be bad, this one impressed me.
You know what this reminds me of? This match reminded me almost of like the Shane versus Undertaker match, Hell in a Cell, from a few Manias ago. You know, when everyone's like, so what's gonna happen? And it's like, actually, that was a pretty good match. Like after the fact of it. But yeah, that grabbing his hand from the outside, because the first thing when he grabbed his hand, I was like, oh, so he's just gonna grab his hand now, isn't he? And he's gonna probably reach over and pick him up. But the fact that he just reached through the cage and almost like a tin can opener, like peeled it back, that was some monster. That's like, you know, everyone's seen that. A lot of people have probably seen that video of, was it Mark Henry trying to take the door off the cage on a SmackDown, and it like took him like 25 minutes and they had to cut it down to like 30 seconds. Oh no, that didn't happen. He just ripped it open. And of course, the spot, it's so silly. It's so silly. It's just like, who's stupid now?
Oh, we shouldn't be laughing at this, but it was so funny.
But and then it was just like, and then Michael, and obviously I don't know if you listened on commentary yet, but Michael Cole said, and he said it like seriously, like serious deadpan, seriously, was like, as you know, Braun Strowman has dedicated this match to anyone out there who's been called stupid. I was like, that's stupid, Michael. That doesn't make any sense. Like, why would he do that?
Everyone's been called stupid at one point or another. You know what I mean?
It's like, but that does that exactly. So are you the people's champion or something? I don't understand. So anyway, that's why I didn't understand the motivation for the match. Because if the motivation was that it was because he was being called stupid, that's fine. But now he's like the person that looks after all the stupid people. I don't know what he is, but yeah, it was a very stupid thing at the end. But it was a really weird build, but a really good match, and I really liked it. And Shane took a sick bump from the top. Like, he is just an insane person, isn't he? Like, I don't understand why he does that stuff. He's not young anymore as well. Like, when you think about him versus Big Show and the whole which way did he go, like, he was young then, but he wasn't even that young. And now he's 50. He's 50 years old, isn't he? 51, yeah. 51. Same age as Sting. Or no, he's a bit younger than Sting, but he's jumping off the top of the cage.
Yeah, dude, getting chokeslammed off the top of the cage, doing like a Jeff Hardy flip bump off of it. Like, you're crazy, bro. And then the part that made me mad was Braun comes down to power slam him, and he's just like, this is for anyone who's ever been called stupid. And then he just power slams him. Like, bro, you had him beat with the choke slam. Just leave. Like, you're making this look bad. I don't know.
You're making all the stupid people look stupid. Like, because you got him done in it. Like, what are you doing?
Somebody had a great tweet. I feel like Rob would have told me who it was. I want to say it was maybe it was Shaza McKenzie, maybe? I can't remember who it was. Somebody had a great tweet that said that what if Braun just threw him off the top of the cage, through the table, and Shane wins, and he said, guess who's stupid now? And it's like, I don't know.
No, it was I remember it was Shazza. She was like, you know what she said? You know what would have been really great was if he said, who's stupid now? She threw him to the outside of the cage.
Yeah.
Because that would have been like a pure like Sid Vicious moment, wouldn't it? I've got half the brain that you... Oh, dang it.
And here come Hall and Nash just to laugh. I gave this match a B, though. It was a solid B match. Like, I was impressed. I thought that this could have been the weakest match on the card, but it surprised me. After this foul, we get pyro, and I think this pyro was just to wake people up. I don't know how you felt about it. It was just random pyro, like, and I'm like, I think that was like, everybody get the hell up. It's WrestleMania, you know?
Oh yeah. I thought it was like a filmed segment, but it was just like, oh, here's pyro, yeah. and then they showed a shot of that skeleton, that weird skeleton, like that just had a massive sword over the whole of the ring, the whole of the arena.
My buddy Sean, who I was watching it with, he kept saying, "Arr, WrestleMania, arr." Like anytime that popped up, he's like, "What is this?"
Oh my god! Like, why has no one done the WrestleMania? Like, that's, oh god damn it, that's gonna be next year, isn't it?
If we're stuck here again, it might be. We might get Tampa Part 3. So Bailey shows up afterwards, calls Michael Cole stupid, and then they introduce the Hall of Fame class here. This is the
where the hell's Braun Strowman now in it? Like, Bailey's calling people stupid.
Exactly. But it was Cole. It was Cole, so he deserved it, because Bailey and Cole have this feud with each other.
Did you like when she was like scooch and she tries to move him out the way and he's just like
They must have like a funny relationship backstage. They have to. Bailey did really well to insert herself on the show, and I hope they let her do it again tomorrow too a little bit. Because I think everybody was thinking maybe Becky Lynch was showing up. Unfortunately, spoiler, newsflash, whatever you want to call it, she didn't. No Becky Lynch showing up, even though she kind of teased us before. Hall of Fame class comes out. NWO get the big star treatment here. I think that would have been Batista if he would have stayed, but I think they were just like, you know what, NWO, you got it instead. Go out there and do your thing. I was happy to see British Bulldog in there. I was just happy to see a lot of the legends make it in, man. I hope tomorrow night, I think that's when we're going to get RVD. I saw you had some great thoughts about him on your weekly wrestling recap, which you can catch every Wednesday, right? 5 p.m. U.S. time?
5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. UK time, yes. YouTube.com/Original Wrestling, yes.
See? We got to throw some cheap plugs in there for you, Fal. And, it was the Hall of Fame segment. We're used to it, right? We'll keep it trucking and moving along here. We got to talk about The Miz and John Morrison now versus Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. Miz and John Morrison did this performance with all these bunny rabbits who came out. I was praying that like Adam Rose or somebody was like going to come out with them and maybe they do like a little swerve or something. That's just me thinking.
I thought it was going to be like the Adam Rose, John Cena thing. You know, like when John Cena had a bunch of people that did the You Can't See Me. I thought that Adam Rose was going to come out and that would have been amazing.
I honestly cannot stand when Miz and Morrison rap, and I think that's supposed to be the appeal, but I just... Fuck, man. Like, that's all I can say.
Not just that, yeah. But they got a shitload of those bunny outfits, haven't they? Because that is the Adam Rose bunny outfit. Mm-hmm. They've got loads of them, haven't they, in the back? Like, how many people have been the bunny?
A lot. And I'm trying to figure out why some of them only had one ear. Maybe they went through some rough times backstage. I don't know.
Oh, my God.
But I was like, why are some of these guys missing ears on their outfits? I thought the song audio-wise sounded horrible, though. Like, I could not understand any of the words they were saying, and maybe it was their microphones. I don't know. But you could clearly hear, like, the dub music in the background over them, pop singer style. It reminded me of MTV's Together when they were making that series. I'm like, what is this, and why are they doing it? It just didn't, I don't know, it didn't work for me. Bad Bunny came out with Damian Priest. Booker T was added to the commentary team for this because Bad Bunny's song is called Booker T. It works. Bad Bunny's got great appeal. If you guys don't know, I understand completely why they did this. I like the celebrity involvement this year. Like, it makes sense for what they're doing here. Dude, foul. Bad Bunny's wrestling skills.
God damn.
It's yours, man.
Dude, he was really good. Like,
So
he was
good.
really good. And, you know, like, he reminded me of, like, Pat McAfee. Like, someone who's a wrestling fan. Like a legitimate wrestling fan, and is like, all right, we're gonna give you like a high profile match, and they're like, you know what, I might get like one chance at this, one go at this ever. Like, I'm gonna do everything I want to do. And like in the old days, you'd get like a Jeremy Piven, and he'd be like a guest host on Raw, and he's like, I'm going to do a crossbody, and that's what you get on AEW to a certain extent. So that's what happened with Snoop, wasn't it? It's like, oh, I'm gonna do a frog splash because my man Eddie does a frog splash and my cousin Sasha does I'm gonna screw it up though because I have done no practice whatsoever. Bad Bunny, dude pulled out like a Canadian destroyer. What the fuck was that? I was just like, huh? Even the Miz, like there was that point where like that's when having a crowd works to your advantage, because if there was no one there, there's no need for him to do it.
They did
But
this so strange too. Like, I'm just, before we get to the finish, since you brought up the Destroyer part, this made me think of this too. Bad Bunny was getting like stomped out by the Miz at one point, and Bad Bunny took most of the offense in this one. At one point, I was like, "Are you gonna tag Damian Priest in or no? Like, what is going on here?" But he was crushing it, head scissors. He was doing moves that actually were in there. I have to give the man his respect for moving to the PC for a couple weeks and learning how to do this, because he was taking it serious. He's a big time star. He could have just said, "Yo, tag me in for the splash, and that's all I'm gonna do." A la Snooki at WrestleMania 27. Like, yo, I'm not doing too much. But he really got in there and did it. Back to you, Foul. I'm sorry. I had to sneak that in.
no, dude, absolutely. And that's what I mean is, like, you have to look at, like, the dedication that he's put into this. This was someone who wanted to really be in wrestling, like, and he wanted to not be embarrassment. Like, so he's come in and he has worked his ass off, and that match was really good. And I remember just thinking, I was like, he spent time learning, and I think it just goes to show, like, celebrity involvement this year, like all the stuff with like Logan Paul, it works. Like yesterday on SmackDown, when Sami Zayn went and saw like Logan and Jake was there, and he was like, "Oh, give me a minute. I'm gonna go outside and get my stuff, and we'll spar." Yeah. And then like he gets kicked out, and then he's like, "Cole, this is a disgrace. You didn't see afterwards. Logan went and told everyone off, and he apologized to it, all this shit." And I was like, that's how you do a celebrity involvement. And the Bad Bunny stuff has been just the same. He has elevated everyone in that segment. Damian Priest is now a big freaking star, whereas anyone that came from NXT before him now with his kind of look would have been gone. They would have been Keith Lee.
And I love Damian Priest, like, hybrid of two superstars. What do I mean by that? The attire says Shawn Michaels and his athleticism says Shawn Michaels, but the swag and the actual physical look says Razor Ramon. And I love that he like kind of morphed those two together in his own swag kind of way. Really, really good for Priest. Like you said, that Canadian Destroyer out to the floor really changed the matchup here. The double team Falcon Arrow from both of them looked really good. The timing was impeccable on it. And I told everybody, we saw the skull crushing finale for a near fall. And then eventually we saw basically a Legion of Doom-esque move where Miz was on Priest's shoulders, cross body off, down to the floor. And he gets right on top of him. 1, 2, 3. Bad Bunny pins the former WWE champion. It's the headline. I told everybody that's got to be the headline. And I'm telling everybody now, Sami Zayn and Logan Paul tomorrow, they are going to be shown working together. And if Logan Paul is smart, he's going to eat a stunner. And wrestling fans will love him. We'll be like, you're great. That's the wise move.
You know what's really interesting about this, and I saw this on Twitter, and like I saw this this particular like opinion from quite a few people, and it is an opinion, and obviously everyone's like entitled to one. But the opinion is that The Miz, having like lost the WWE Championship and not defending that at WrestleMania, and having this match with Bad Bunny and being involved in this segment, is the runner-up prize. I'm like, no, it's not. This is the prize. Being at WrestleMania, involved in a celebrity angle with someone who's outside of the sphere of professional wrestling, is way more valuable than being involved in a championship match. And The Miz just made, like, he hit the jackpot. And I think a lot of people are forgetting that. They're thinking, oh, well, he was a transitional champion. He had the... No, he held the championship. Yes, transitionally, but he held the WWE Championship this year.
If you go back and look at things in a retroactive kind of way, they tried to get maximum viewership. Bad Bunny was interacting with the WWE Champion, so he's bringing in a different audience in from that level. Then Miz loses the title, and it's going to be him and Bad Bunny one-on-one, but then they added Morrison and Priest to number one, snug the match, make it a little bit better, less work for Bad Bunny just in case things don't work out or they don't like the way it looks. But he made it look really good, and BJ said Petey Williams had to be sad tonight. Laugh out loud. Petey Williams actually said Bad Bunny. The first time I probably did the Canadian Destroyer, Bad Bunny was 10. And Matt Lopez said the rumor that Bad Bunny was in the Performance Center since January, since he wasn't busy.
Wow.
So good
yeah,
for
I
him.
heard that. I heard that he was just hanging around because he couldn't go on tour.
Mm-hmm.
So he was just like, "Can I come hang?"
And they were like, "Hell yeah, come, let's get that money."
Yeah, come hang out with us. And Damian Priest is like, "Hey, do you want to come hang out with me?" And he's like, "Yes, I would love to." And a friendship was born.
A said Doomsday Crossbody petting Miz was awesome to him. I love it, man. Good for Miz and them. I wish Miz was taken more serious on TV. Same with Morrison, like on a weekly basis. But they're in this role now, and I think they're happy with it. Like, dude, what are you gonna be mad about?
Not just that, yeah. Imagine the like 4-episode arc that's going to be on Mr. and Mrs. in a few years' time when he talks about this shit. Like, imagine it's going to be him and Bad Bunny like going out of the town and shit right after their training sessions, isn't it? Like, that's what we're really waiting for.
Monroe, Dad, did you get beat up by Bad Bunny one time? Don't read Google, all right? Stay off of that. I gave this a B, though. I thought this was a solid match. Once again, really good. I would recommend people go out and check it out if you are a big fan. But, Foul, we've reached that great moment. Main event. You know what time it is. It's boss time. It's time for the SmackDown Women's Championship match. The match that deserved... I'm looking right into the camera. The match that deserved to main event this show. I know some people were opposed to that. I don't give a damn. This deserved it. Why? Number one, the Royal Rumble winner won. Protect the Rumble, please. Number two, it was nice to see different female talent get the opportunity to main event at WrestleMania. I like it. And two women who are two of my favorites right now, on a personal note. I'd love to see this. And I thought that this match was so much fun, dude. Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, Foul. What do you got on this one, man? What did you think?
Absolutely spectacular. Like, such a good match. Like, you know, first of all, like, we're at the main event. Like, there weren't a lot of matches on this card. Like, but this really felt like it felt like the right time for this to be a main event. As you said, protecting the Rumble and everything. Sasha came out like looking like someone said that she looked like the Gremlin from Gremlins 2, but I don't think that's what she was going for. Was she going for like the evil, like, you know, in Kim Possible, you know, her like arch nemesis? She was supposed to look like her, I'm guessing. Like, I don't know what her name is, but she has like green and black hair. But anyway, looked amazing, yeah. So did Bianca. They went out there and the match started off quite emotional, and Bianca seems to show that, like, how much this means to her. Like, she did it at the Rumble and she did it here as well. Like, that's a genuine emotion of like, I loved this shit when I was younger and now I'm like in this stuff. And it was great. Those two women worked fantastically. I mean, the hair whip, like, people aren't allowed to slap the leg anymore, but god damn, no leg got slapped there. Like, you saw the welt on her back afterwards. Like, it was insane. But those two women, like, number one, Bianca Belair is an amazing athlete. When she caught Sasha Banks out of the air and then just picked her up and then just walked her into the ring and put her back in. I'm like, that's insane. But that truly is, isn't it? Like,
dude, when I saw this matchup, the best way I could put it was so we were going through asking the questions like, okay, who's better? And I'm like, well, it depends on what you're talking about. Someone was like, well, who's the better wrestler? I'm like, Sasha. Who's the better athlete? Bianca. Who is stronger? Bianca. Who is quicker? I said Bianca. But I said, who's more technically sound in the ring? Sasha. And we were just going through all this. I'm like, yo, this is a pretty even matchup when you come to think about it. Like, the differences in the personalities. One's more about the finesse, the actual pro wrestling. The other one's about the power. But the emotion for both is what connects them and makes this real. And I thought the ponytail was used so well in this match too. It was used at one point for the bank statement to wrap around her. Sasha used it at several points to pull her to the ring post, grab her, take advantage of this. And I love it. Ace said this match was a historic moment. Matt Lopez said this women's championship match ruled. This was really good, man. The back and forth just seems so freaking real here. I don't even know what else to say, man. Eventually, when Banks went for the double foot stomp, misses, rolls through, and it looks like she's going to go for that Meteora against the turnbuckle pads, but Bianca's the athlete, lifted herself up, misses. The 450 didn't look that great. I was like, I hope they don't end it on this. And then she kicked out. I was like, okay, good. There's still time. And eventually, dude, we get to Sasha gets whipped across her stomach, and eventually the KOD is finally hit. 1, 2, 3, and the KOD was protected too, which made it even better. I don't think anyone's really kicked out of that move except for one person, maybe in NXT. I think it was Shayna, but other than that, nobody has kicked out of it. Thank you. Everybody in the chat says it's Shigo from Kim Possible.
Shigo, yeah,
yes.
because I was like, I don't know her name in it, but she's her nemesis. She looks exactly like her anyway. So
yeah. So the KOD for the 1, 2, 3 B+ match right here. I thought it was solid. I think it was teetering on that Cesaro Rollins. Like, if you say either one of these were your match of the night, I'm not going to argue with you. I thought they were both great. The whip crack heard round the world, BJ said. Man, you ain't lying about that. When I saw the welt, listen, if there weren't children present, I was trying not to say a swear word. I was just like, I know that it's gonna hurt tomorrow. I know it's gonna be bad. This was really fun,
like,
dude.
Damn, but it was such a good match, because what was great about it as well was that, like, they kept talking about it as well, and they kept saying, like, how Sasha Banks had never won, like, at she always loses at WrestleMania, she always loses the title, and it's like, that was almost like the double bluff, wasn't it? And people were like, oh no, well, they're not gonna let her lose it this time. But the Bianca Belair story of joining the PC, everything about her, like her struggles when she was younger, and like how she used athleticism to kind of get through that stuff, and then January winning the Rumble, and then getting to Mania, and then winning that's an amazing story. Like, it's truly homegrown WWE talent. And it's such a great thing to see. Like, it to me has a similar feeling to when Kofi won the championship as well, but like in a different way, which is it's something that the fans were clamoring for but never thought that they'd see. And I think with Bianca Belair, she's been handled very well. Like, you know, she hasn't had any weird, even her stuff that she did with Bayley, she came out on top. And she looked good when she was in those segments. It wasn't just like being thrown in there. And I think that she, for the future, for such a young age as well, like, I can't wait to see her, like, her promo on SmackDown on Friday, because I don't feel she was given enough time when she won the Rumble, you know, to have that kind of conversation and say, I'm the Rumble winner. But now I can't wait to see what she does. I just hope that they know where to go with it now.
I really hope that they realize it too, Foul, because I thought with this match they could have done the different promos. I wanted to see maybe, like, if it were me and I was in charge, I think I would have done either a WrestleMania 12 style booking of like the Brett Shawn, like the two stories with each other in the training. Like, I love those sometimes when they work. Like, Shawn, I remember seeing Shawn train and he was like super kicking 3 guys in there. I was like, man, that's really good. And Brett's back in the dungeon working with his father because he's got to prepare for the Iron Man match. Or Brock Lesnar, when Rock went to the University of Miami and he's running up the stairs to train. Brock's running around with logs on his back and shit. You're like, dude, who's gonna win this? Because they're both training super hard for it. I love it. This chat is getting wild, so let me get into this file, and then we'll start to wrap this up.
Yeah. The chat's popping, yo.
Yeah, these guys are in here going crazy. A said Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Championship was way better than the triple threat match at WrestleMania 35 for the Raw Women's Championship. Ace, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one, because I do believe if my memory serves me correct, I think I gave that a C plus, and I gave this one a B plus. So I think it was better. Foul. Do you have a preference between the two?
Obviously it was better than the triple threat. I really liked this match. The Raw triple threat though, I think I liked that one a little bit more. I think just because it was the first and because of the craziness in that match. Like that was
the
just
build
that,
was better for sure.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I think with this match, what would have been quite nice would have been to kind of like almost acknowledge that Sasha was the more like wily veteran and she'd been doing this a lot longer, and it was like Bianca Belair was the person that had to prove herself, where they didn't really do that story, and I think that's just the time that they didn't have the time to do that. I think they started off
real shitty with that Reginald stuff, then they pivoted and it started to make sense where she called her rookie and stuff. I'm like, okay, you should have did this in the beginning.
Exactly, and they only did that for like a week or two, but if they'd done that from the beginning, it would have been like, yo, you ain't good enough to lace my boots, and then built from there. I think it might have been a bit more impactful when she'd won. But what's cool about this is the next match that they have is going to have that inbuilt thing now where you know that she can beat Sasha, so it will make it more interesting.
I like it. BJ said, who better? Conrad, you know that's Canyon's gimmick. Laugh out loud. Malik Murray says he's got a question. Do we think Sasha Banks is going away for a little bit and coming back in 2022? Foul, I'm going to give that one to you. Does Sasha disappear after this loss? Is she devastated?
Well, I mean, I'm sure that she's probably got some more film projects on the way, and isn't the next season of Mandalorian filming right now?
Hey. Sometimes I like the devastating loss, though, because it makes the win better. Like, yo, so here's the crazy part. I'm going to tell you guys a funny story. So the kid I was watching this with, the youngest kid there, was really, really young, and he was into this matchup. And I said before we even started watching the pay-per-view, I was like, oh man, I'm getting WrestleMania 12 vibes. This kid was a huge Sasha Banks. He's like, Sasha's gotta win this, come on. And I'm sitting there, and I knew, in my mind, I already had Bianca as the winner. I'm like, they gotta do this for Bianca. I think the time is right. And when it happened, it's weird. I get happy, but I also feel for the kid too when they see like their favorite person lose and they're like down in the dumps after. And I saw it and I was just like, yeah, I'm a Sasha fan too, man. I was hoping she had won. It's okay. And then, you know, he understood and everything afterwards. But I love seeing the emotion that kids like get with it. And I think sometimes we forget that as we're older fans. It's like, you know, that little kid really wanted that person to win. So just different, man. Just different to see how that works out. And that reminded me of WrestleMania 12. My brother was a huge Bret Hart fan. I'm a huge Shawn Michaels fan. There were fights, trust me, in this house over this. And I remember he threw a Bret Hart action figure at me. Never forget it. Like, busted my lip. And I was just like, oh, I don't care. Shawn won the belt. This is a great moment. And I had no life back then. So I was just like, this is the great moment. I'm so happy. And I remember my parents were trying to explain to him everything. But when Bret went away, my brother realized, like, that was so important to him that he left wrestling. Like, he was so devastated by that loss, and the title meant that much to him. It makes it a bigger deal sometimes, and I think you could do that here. That's a good point that Malik brought up, man. I really like it.
You can, no, it's true. You can just have a leave, can't you, and be like, I don't want to be here because I've been beaten. And it does it. To be honest, from like her last year as well of having like to chase Bayley for the championship for all that time. It would feed into that story, wouldn't it? Like, I've just left. Like, I'm not happy about this, and I'm just going to go and, like, regroup and get back to normal kind of thing.
Right. Matt Lopez brought up what you said about The Mandalorian. So Matt Lopez says before that, he said, this was a great match. You got to think they can get better. Maybe 2 out of 3 falls or an Iron Man match between these two if they wanted to keep this going. So he brings up a contrarian point to what Malik said. That would be good as well. Tokyo Rockstar has dubbed Sasha as Shigo Banks in the chat. So,
Shigo Banks.
I'll get the memes ready, brother. Get the memes ready. BJ says, hurt tomorrow. That post shower is going to be the true pain. Yes. Oh my goodness. I don't know, man.
Damn it.
Ooh, just
You know, if I was gonna get hit, yeah, if I was gonna get whip cracked by someone's hair, I would probably make sure I was wearing like just something just there because but you wouldn't get the right sound, would
but
you?
wrestlers want the welt, man. I think they know
Yeah,
like
they
the
would.
scars mean something to them. Like, you know how I got this one? You want to know? You want to know how I
Do
got
you know
these
how I got these?
scars?
Yeah, do you know how I got these scars? WrestleMania 37 main event hair.
And Rockstar, this will be the last comment here. Rockstar says Sasha Banks wins Money in the Bank, so he's calling her as the winner for Money in the Bank early. Okay,
Ooh.
that's a big bold prediction here. Like I said, Fowler, I gave that match a B plus. Overall grade for night one. Would you have one so far?
If we're going on your grading system, I would say my overall for night one would be a B, and not a B plus, just a bit straight flat B, because you know what, it was a good show,
Foul.
and with rain delaying.
We are one of the same mind, good sir. I didn't even talk to you, and I have a B as well written down. I thought it was solid, despite you could complain about tag team turmoil, but was it that bad? I don't think so. It was the second match on the card. Take it easy, guys. This was a solid show. No complaints. I think it over-delivered on my expectations tonight. I think night two's got to make sure that they are tight and ready to go.
You know what's great about this as well, and I think okay, so here in the UK now it's 6:30, so the show ended at 5, well 4:40 or whatever, 4:50. It's a long show, but we're used to it. But what's great about it is that I actually am waiting for tomorrow night. Like, I'm excited for tomorrow night's show. Whereas last year it was a bit like, oh, it's just part two of like, where it feels like this feels more like Kill Bill Volume 1 and Kill Bill Volume 2 than the half. Like, this feels less like Matrix Revolutions and Reloaded, where it's just two halves of movies that they've just split for the sake of it. These are two separate like things that are happening, and I'm excited for tomorrow. So, yeah, it was a good show. Like, and I hope that tomorrow it over delivered tonight in spite of itself. So tomorrow, let's hope that it does better. Like, let's hope that it doesn't rain. Allegedly, from what I hear, there's a 90% chance that the weather's worse tomorrow. So we could be having a lot of random backstage stuff happening.
We shall see what happens with it. Honestly, when you said that Kill Bill part, I really wish I had the whistle scene in there. I wanted to do it, but I felt like it would be super annoying to do that into the microphone.
Just a
Leave it to File. That was good. That was good. That was good. Absolutely appreciate you doing that for my own entertainment. File. Bro, tell the people where they can find you first and foremost.
Oh, cool. Oh, thanks, Conrad. It's fun as ever. Hi, I'm Foul Original. You can find me on youtube.com/Foul Original Wrestling every Wednesday for the weekly wrestling recap, which happens at 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. UK time, where we talk about wrestling. Also, you can find me on Twitter at Foul_Original. This weekend, as part of WrestleMania stuff, I'm doing the things. Also, memes are available in places. Also, go to fouloriginal.com. Why not? And go to Radio Foul if you could. That would be nice. And that's it, really. Check out documentary series.
Got some other projects cooking up too soon, so trust me. Some are secret, some aren't.
I got some super secret stuff coming up soon, so don't worry about it. But yeah, come and have a look and see what we do. And it's wrestling stuff, so hopefully you will enjoy. Come to enjoy.
Yeah, and I also recommend, if you guys watch my Dynamite streams before Dynamite at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, go on over to Fowl's channel when he's doing the weekly wrestling recap and see what Fowl does every week. Like, it's really, really good stuff, and he kind of breaks down the wrestling news, but different than everybody else. You get kind of some good in-depth conversation, just like we had here tonight. It's on a shorter scale, I promise you, but you get some really good conversations about all the latest wrestling news. And I see some people in the chat putting B for night one. The rain is the biggest threat for tomorrow. I agree. And I hope everyone who went to WrestleMania was safe. They had fun. I don't want to hear any like craziness that happened or positive cases. I want everyone to be safe and have fun at these shows. It feels good to have wrestling fans back. Everyone who's in the chat each and every week, thank you guys so much. And I mean it, like, seriously, go follow Fowl. Fowl is a great dude. He